Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. This is Module 4 presentation. This is a RESTful API built with Node.js and Express for rocket elevators designed to support elevator quotation, agent management, and customer communication services. The API provides different endpoints for retrieving agent information, calculating elevator requirements and costs for the different building types based on the pricing tiers, the different pricing tiers. The API also features include agent email list generation for bulk communication, and its all calculation logic is modularized into separate files for maintainability, and pricing data is also centrally managed to facilitate future updates. I'm gonna cover this. I divide this into three parts: part 1, part 2, and part 3. Part 1, I'm going to cover what I call the basic get routes, which is get status, get hello, and get error message. Thank you. All right, let's cover what I call part 1 of the different routes. This is the get status, get hello, get error, and get email list. The get status route is this route returns a message containing the port number that the application is running on, and the as well as the environment. The environment and the port number are pulled from the .env file. The first get is the hello. It's just a simple hello world greeting. The get error basically simulates an error response for the front end testing, and the get email list returns the limited list of all the agents email. Let's fire up the application and start testing these 4 endpoints. Okay, let's run the app, and now the app is up and running. Let's switch our screen to do the actual testing. Okay, so we're gonna start with the hello first endpoint, so the get endpoint. So we're gonna cover these 3 endpoint first. So that's the hello world. As you can see, returns the hello world message. So we'll the next one we're gonna do is the status, then the error, then the email list. Alright, so if we change here to the status and hit enter, that's the status. Service running on port 3000 and in the development environment. So let's do the next one, which is the error, and then the email list. All right, error. This is the one simulating the error message. Again, it's an internal server error message. This is a simulated error for obviously testing purposes, right? And let's do the next one, the email list. And this should return a list of all the emails, delimited. So this is, I believe that's all of it for part 1. So let's go over part 2. All right, so part 2, I also divided into 2 parts just to make it easier to present and more digestible. So part 2 is the region average, return average rating and fee for agent in any in a specific region, south, I believe it's south, north, and east, and it should not report if it didn't find any agent for a particular region. So it should show a a message saying no agents were found in that particular region. So let's do the testing for the region, and let's start with the north region here. Let's run that one first. So as you see, we have an average rating for the north region, which is I believe is 94.75. So let's run the same for this. Let's do it for the east region. Let's run it for east first. And that's returning again the average for the region and the average rating and the average fee. And let's run it for the south region, and that should report the rating for the south. And if we say west, it should return an error message saying that no agents were found in the west region. So that's basically what these endpoint are doing. So I'm gonna cover the elevators in the next module. All right, this is part 3 of the get API endpoints or routes. This is where we calculate the residential elevators and the pricing, and as well as the tiering. Residential elevator calculator that account for building specifications such as apartment count, floor levels, and different multiple elevators, and all the pricing data is centrally managed in a different file to facilitate any future updates. So this one, it's actually all the calculation and the math come from the previous module. So let's run the test, and let's start with one that brings a positive outcome. So let's start with the standard tier. This should have a positive positive outcome. So elevator requires 1. The total cost should be $8,800. So let's change that to the premium tier as well. So let's run one for the premium tier. This will run the test for the premium tier, and that should be elevators required 2. Total cost should be, wow, that's expensive. But yeah, so now the next one, we can do a test on an invalid tier, a tier that doesn't exist. So let's try that. So let's try that with the gold tier, which is it doesn't exist in our calculations. So that should bring an error message saying invalid tier. Tier must be one of a standard, premium, or the Excelium tier. So let's try a different test case. Another fail non-integer value. So let's do that and try to run it. This is going to be for a standard tier. The standard tier does exist, but the value is invalid. So this should fail. It's a error, invalid input message. Apartment and floor must both be of integer type. And I think there is another test which I believe is the zero value. So let's run one for the 0 value as well, and this should also fail with an invalid input. Yes, error, invalid input message. Apartments and floor must both be greater than 0. All right, so that's all for the apartments. I'm gonna go to the next, with this the contact, the post, the contact form, but the post, that's the post. Okay. All right, so this is the last piece of the application. and this is the post. Contact us, which handle contact information submission, and this particular endpoint will accept post request with first name, last name, and message in the request body, create a response that recognizes the sender, greeting the sender saying thank you for your message, log the entire response, and return the response to the client, and it has to log the response on the console as well. So that's basically, this is the last piece of the puzzle. This particular piece of code was added today, Friday, October the 3rd, just recently, like 2 hours ago. Basically to do it's a very simple validation to the required fields to ensure that the first name, last name, and message, and first name are not empty. So let's move on to the testing of this one in just in a moment, and let's run the first test. So let's do it here, and that should be our first test for the post, and it's a success. Thank you, Daniel. We have received your message, and the received data is first name, last name, and the message. Actually, I would like to inquire about the elevators, and let's run another one, and then let's move on. Let's switch to the console as well, because we need to see that message being there as well. So let's do this one as well. This one is inquiring about the office hours. What are your office's hours? Here we go. So that's the message, and let me move the screen over to the console, and this is our console, and we log the message in the console as well. So that was the requirement for this particular for this post endpoint. Okay, so that's conclude my presentation today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye.